Madden 23 early access began on August 15th, which was actually half a day earlier than it was supposed to be available, and the official worldwide release of Madden 23 was August 19th, 2022. The All Madden Edition pre-order was okay, but the best part of it was definitely the All Madden Elite players that you received: the Barry Sanders, the Cooper Kupp, the Micah Parsons, and the Cam Chancellor. Madden 23 brought us Field Sense. It was kind of what they teased in the trailers, which is just slightly different, or I guess more realistic, ball carrier movement. We had the new hard cut mechanic by hitting the left back button. Button mashing comes back, just spamming the A button. The backspin was patched from Madden 22 to Madden 23. And probably the best thing that they added was honestly freeform passing, and hopefully they expand on that in Madden 24. Some Ultimate Team changes were them getting rid of power-ups besides the Legends promo, which I really liked. The Legends promo system was really bad, and they obviously got rid of it for Ultimate Legends, thank goodness, but power-ups were gone. Hopefully they never come back. I do not like power-ups. We have the Field Pass introduced to the game, which is kind of like a battle pass for each season of Ultimate Team. We also have the Comp Pass, which refreshed each week and had its own unique Comp Pass player. I liked it at the beginning of the year, and then, a lot of the rewards just got really bad, but the initial Comp Pass was good when it worked, of course, which of course we're going to talk about later. One of the biggest changes to Madden 23 Ultimate Team was them getting rid of Weekend League. Weekend League is gone. Instead of you only having a weekend to play 25 games, they brought us MUT Champions, which gave you a whole week to do it, and to me, I really like this change. I was watching some of the videos before Madden 23 came out, even early Madden 23. I liked the change, but as the year went on, I grew to really dislike it, and I missed Weekend League. I wouldn't hate if they had a weekday and a Weekend League in Madden 24, but it is what it is. A lot of people just didn't like the fact that Weekend League was gone, and they never brought it back the whole year. Okay, so let's get started. The day one content in Madden 23 Ultimate Team were obviously Core Elites, RPs, All Madden pre-order cards, Team Captains, Team Builders, Team Affinity cards, Headliners, and finally the Comp Pass Trevor Lawrence. The first Saturday of the Madden season is usually Legends, but this year we got our first All Madden drop. These cards were like all the best in the game at their position. We had Warren Sapp, Randy Moss, Ronnie Lott, Mike Allstott, Bruce Smith, Bruce Matthews, Tony Gonzalez. We had Joe Montana, we had Lawrence Taylor, Sam Mills. These cards were all the best in the game, and we also were given a free Randy Moss cornerback from just playing the solos. And I originally thought it was going to be a huge out of position year, which it wasn't as bad as it was in 22, but I was a little bit scared. I remember seeing that cornerback Randy Moss in like the first drop of the year. Headliners Part 2 came out. We got the 89 Justin Jefferson and the 89 Javon Holland, which I really liked the Holland card. He kind of had his own custom drip with the headband around the neck. We then had our first Legend drop. The Legend power-up system, I kind of already mentioned it. I hated it. It was really bad. But our first Legend drop of the year was Lester Hayes, Deacon Jones, Anthony Munoz. We had Jerome Bettis, 86 speed, 87 speed Atwater, 88 speed Andre Reed, Mike Vrabel, and Jay Hilgenberg. We then had a Comp Pass update, and this introduced not only great rewards like a free 89 All Madden player, but also 89 speed, 6'4" Tariq Woolen. And little did we know this was going to be probably the best Comp Pass we got all year, and it was still August when they revealed it. It was crazy, and it only went downhill from there, and quickly. We are now into September, and to get started in September, we had Campus Heroes Part 1. We had Champion Crabtree, Champion Derek Johnson, LTD Ricky Williams. We had an 87 overall free Tim Tebow, and for the Heroes, we had Grant Delpit, Marcus Mariota, Derek Mason, DeMarco Murray, and Brandon Cooks. So at around this time, people started to realize issues with Madden 23 Ultimate Team. And I really cannot make a Madden 23 Ultimate Team rewind without talking about all of the problems, the glitches, the make rights that literally came out every promo, content getting pushed back, bad communication from EA, an absolutely horrid ban system, which was getting people banned for not even doing anything wrong, just selling a card that was a little bit, inflated that day or whatever. I mean, it was just a bad year. And I think to start the year, gameplay was actually pretty good. And I'm not even crazy for saying that. The gameplay of Madden 23, up until the insane amount of KOs and things like that, was actually really good. It was an enjoyable game. It was definitely better than Madden 22 gameplay. But where EA missed at the beginning of the year was everything but gameplay. The content was getting pushed back. There was glitches, so many issues. And that's kind of the overlying theme of Madden 23 Ultimate Team, was just them just being awful. Like EA just really dropping the ball. But I say all of that to say that at this time of the year, there were major issues with the Comp Pass. People not getting the right XP, people not getting the rewards, and people not being able to get the Tariq Woolen But back to the content, we then got a preseason team of the week with the champion 88 speed Cavante Turpin. We had another champion, Ty McGill. The LTD was Samuel Womack, a 5'9" corner. We also had like a budget tight end, Lawrence Cager. And then we had Ultimate Kickoff. Ultimate Kickoff was actually pretty good. We had champion Larry Fitzgerald and champion Troy Polamalu both shared the Madden cover together, which was pretty cool. And then part 2 gave us champion Von Miller, champion CMC, and LTD Chandler Jones. But really the 87s for this whole promo were very mid, besides the Raheem Mostert and the Anthony Barr. And keep in mind, while this is all happening, all this content is coming out, people are complaining about packs. We then had our first major legend drop, and when I say major legend drop, you know, some weekends we get like a Clay Matthews and like a Jay Hilgen, just an example, you know, like an offensive lineman and like an edge rusher. Like, that's a legend drop, okay, but the major legend drops give you a 90 speed Mike Vick with set feet lead, an 89 speed Rod Woodson, and then we also did end up getting Herman Moore out of the Legends promo, and also 90 speed LaDainian Tomlinson. So Legends promo early in September was actually pretty good, but that major legend drop with Mike Vick and Rod Woodson, it was crazy. I opened a ton of packs for those cards, and obviously the packs were still overpriced and the odds were bad, so Mike Vick was insanely expensive. We then had Team of the Week, Week 1, with a Player of the Week, Saquon Barkley. We had Champ Bailey, Drew Bledsoe, who was also another set feet lead quarterback, and also limited time Myles Jack. We then had the AKA promo, and the AKA promo, we kind of knew how good it was going to be just based off of card arts alone. The card arts of this promo were absolutely amazing. The nicknames were cool. It was a cool new idea, and was honestly one of the better promos throughout the whole year. It really was. It carried Madden 23 in my opinion. But this drop gave us Cam Chancellor, Night Train Lane, Reggie White, Mike Ditka. We had Fitz Magic, we had Marshawn Lynch, and we also did end up getting an Okoye this month as well. We then had Team of the Week, Week number 2. And this was no normal Team of the Week drop, because this was actually the start of the pack strike. It was delayed, there was a lot of frustration, a lot of miscommunication, and this was kind of like the final blow for the community pause, but it was the final blow for the community. I mean, the pack strike began. The pack strike was very weird because people outside of kind of the Madden bubble were talking about it. But the main reason was, of course, field pass and comp pass issues. No weekend league rewards, which never changed. The content kept dropping with issues and getting delayed. It felt like they were kind of rushing things out and just trying to profit off of people. It's kind of what it felt like. That's exactly what it felt like, actually. I believe that was somewhere in September maybe 20th or something, somewhere in there. Yes, September 20th. Is when the pack strike began. Later that week, we ended up getting Gridiron Guardians Part 1. We had a champion Herbert, champion Charles Woodson, LTD Jeffrey Simmons. We had Sauce Gardner, Justin Fields, Cordero Patterson as the heroes. And that next day, they dropped training variety packs. And EA made it look like it was because we were on pack strike and it was because we were unhappy. But that's not true. They had training varieties planned. So at this time, EA was down bad. The comp pass sucked. They thought training varieties were going to cause everyone to be happy, and they thought everything was going to be okay, but EA was down bad. And on top of all these things, the Team Diamonds promo kept getting pushed back. They were talking about it on Good Morning Madden, and it just kept getting pushed back and back and back. People think this one may have been because of the pack strike, actually, but when you keep delaying, one of the fan favorite promos that was honestly kind of bad all year for Team Diamonds, and you kind of keep pushing it back, people were obviously getting more and more mad. We then had Team of the Week, Week number 3, which was actually pretty solid, I can't lie. This time, we had a record breaker Lamar Jackson, where that card was fire. The card was cool. It was a really nice card. I really liked the record breaker Lamar. Obviously, it was very expensive, but we also had a 91 Devonta Smith, Antonio Gates, Dwight Freeney, and an LTD Justin Tucker. And to wrap up September, we had Gridiron Guardians Part 2. We had a champion Eric Dickerson, champion Nick Bosa. We had an LTD DK Metcalf. We also got a bunch of added position alter ego cards for Sauce Gardner, Justin Fields, and Cordero Patterson. That were really cool. But there were huge issues with this drop, and this was just a tough way to wrap up September. First of all, the LTD DK wasn't in packs, which is crazy. And then there was a huge gameplay issue with Eric Dickerson, with him having his own new custom player model in Madden 23, where it caused every player on the field to flicker. It was insane. Like, you couldn't play against Eric Dickerson. Like, it was that bad. So what they ended up doing was they ended up going back to his old player model until they fixed it in a title update, which I think may have been like 2 to 3 weeks later. So we are now into the beautiful month of October. The first content drop of October was an AKA Revis Island and an AKA Megatron, a pretty good drop that for some reason, they always drop Revis and Calvin Johnson together. I don't know why, but they always do it. Also that day, the content schedule came out, of course, on Monday. and we discovered that Team Diamonds was once again delayed another week. That Tuesday, we had the champion Plexico Burris with Team of the Week 4, also Jordan Poyer, John Randles, and Darius Smith. And also that week, the Hispanic Heritage promo was supposed to drop on Thursday, but it got delayed actually 24 hours, and it was actually still broken even after they delayed it. And it was actually a pretty bad promo. Ted Hendricks was the only good 88, and maybe like the kicker Zane Gonzalez was probably the 2 cards worth going after, but you know, it was delayed 24 hours, and it was still broken even after the delay. I don't know which I'd rather have, it come out on time broken or come out 24 hours later broken. I don't know. That weekend, we were revealed a new Compass Malik Hooker, and we also had the AKA Mean Joe and Edgerrin James come out on Monday. Again, Team of the Week, Week 5 was delayed again, I noted here in the script, and we got Russell Wilson, Travis Kelce, Brandon Marshall, Ty Law, pretty good Jets drop, honestly, is what I'm looking at here. And then Season 2 and Most Feared came out that Thursday. They dropped together. It probably came out like 12 o'clock Eastern. Season 2 brought us the All-Team Chem Deion Sanders, which actually had pretty big implications because every Deion from that point on got All-Team Chems, which is obviously pretty good. Also, we had 92 Josh Allen, who's pretty solid, but by the time a lot of people actually got him, there were better quarterbacks already in the game. And as far as the Most Feared drops go, or Most Feared drop goes, number 1, we had Champion Carmichael, while Ags were still really good in the game. Champion Derrick Henry, Champion Julius Peppers, and Champion Derwin James. And we also had a limited time Stephon Gilmore with 92 speed. And don't worry, while this is all still happening, Most Feared and Season 2 comes out, there's still, you know, XP problems and field pass issues and comp pass issues while this is all going on. That weekend, however, we had a legend, Dante Culpepper. And by the way, I am skipping over Legends weekends that have bad names or aren't that good. I'm skipping over them just to save time. We also had an AKA drop Monday with a Walter Payton, which was actually pretty tough, and Javon Curse. Javon Curse's card art was probably one of the best we've seen all year. It was absolutely beautiful. It's getting kind of repetitive, but of course, Tuesday, Week 6, Team of the Week with CJ GJ, and this is when they actually started to do Offensive Player of the Week and Defensive Player of the Week. So we had CJ GJ, we had Jamar, we had Seymour, Todd Heap, LTD Leonard Floyd, which was actually a really good card. He was just kind of expensive because he came out as an LTD. But yes, that Thursday, finally, Team Diamonds are here. And it was obvious that the cards were designed to be like 90 overalls, and they just changed the overall in the cards. Like, a lot of the cards weren't even really usable. They were super mid and obviously overpriced, as all Team Diamonds cards are. But normally they're not mid, they're just overpriced and pretty good. This time they were like 90 overalls that were labeled as 92s and overpriced because people were trying to go after the 96 overall All-Team Chem Gunslinger 1, best QB in MUT, John Elway. We then had Most Feared Part 2 with a champion Josh Allen, but not that Josh Allen, that Josh Allen. We then had champion 93 speed Tyreek Hill, Ray Lewis, and Trent Williams, and the LTD was 91 speed Stephon Diggs. Legends that weekend were Ed Reed and Emmitt Smith, and we were given a new Compass player, and that was actually Isaiah Polamau, who was pretty good for the time, and actually one of the few cards that were worth going for because he was tall, good speed, and a really, really good user. That Monday, again, we had a Steve McNair card, who was actually really good too, and William Perry. Team of the Week, Week 7 comes around. We got our first Matthew Berry Player of the Week. It was Kenneth Walker. We then had a Player of the Week, Josh Jacobs. Player of the Week, Devondre Campbell. Roddy White, Tracy Porter, LTD Kevin Byard, and an LTD Derek Carr. I feel like we're kind of flying through October, to be honest. October is kind of going by fast, a quite repetitive month if we're being honest here. We then had Most Feared Part 3 with 91 speed champion Kyle Pitts. This was probably the best drop, honestly. We had 91 speed Kyle Pitts, champion 92 speed Jalen Ramsey, champion Myles Garrett, champion Devontae, and an LTD Tyrann. I guess that's probably the worst part of the drop, but it was pretty good. Then we had a nice legend drop that weekend as well with 92 speed Jerry Rice. I noted here he was the first route tech wide receiver. We also got Luke Kuechly that weekend and a limited 92 speed Charles Tillman. And if you guys remember, he was like 3 to 4 million, or probably like 3 to 2 million more for like a long time. Yeah, for a lot of reasons. But that card was super expensive. And of course, it was a really nice legend drop. People wanted to spend money on packs. I'm not going to say anything, but the pack strike does come to an end, and it really, you know, I'm not going to say my opinion on it, but yeah, drop a comment down below. Do you think the pack strike made an impact? I have my opinions. I'll save them. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down below. I don't know. It lasted over about a month, and honestly, were there that many I'm not sharing my opinion on the next drop. It was then Halloween, so yeah, I guess the month's already over here. And we had an LTD George Kittle and an LTD Melvin Ingram. To me, Madden 22's Halloween content was a little bit better, but you know, still Halloween content's Halloween content. And then we also had AKAs revealed, or maybe that was that Monday, it was still in October. And we had Shady McCoy and Ed Too Tall as our AKAs. It is now November. And we had Team of the Week, Week 8, that Tuesday, with a 91 speed, 92 overall Alvin Kamara, and also a 92 speed Maurice Jones-Drew. So a pretty heavy running back drop there. And to start November, we started off with a bit of a bang with the All Madden Part 2. Jonathan Ogden, Devin Hester, Steve Young, Derek Brooks, Aaron Donald, Mike Haynes, Brian Urlacher. I have 92 speed Micah Parsons, 91 speed Cooper Kupp, who was actually super glitchy in the slot. And then we also had the 93 speed Barry Sanders. So all Madden, those drops always brought the juice, and this one was obviously no different. Moving on to the new comp pass reveal, we had Graham Gano. I guess Legends were not that good that weekend, or maybe, I guess Legends just weren't good that weekend, because I think all Madden and Legends were still coming out at the same time whenever they came out with more parts. We then had AKA Brian Dawkins and Mike Urban. The Brian Dawkins card art was actually super fire. Then, of course, that Tuesday, we had Team of the Week, Week 9 with Joe Mixon, LTD CMC, who was actually got a card for throwing a touchdown, catching a touchdown, and rushing a touchdown in the same game. We had LTD Julio Jones and Jay Cutler, a card that I actually really was a fan of. This week was also the start of the Harvest promo, and Harvest was actually really good this year. We had a champion middle linebacker Isaiah Simmons with 93 speed. We had champion AJ Brown, champion RG3, and champion Jason Taylor. And also that hero ETN was actually a pretty popular running back option because he was pretty budget. AKA that week was CJ2K and Howie Long. That Howie Long card was kind of like glitchy. His X Factor was a little bit broken. I remember they had to like patch it or raise the AP on it. So they did that. Team of the Week that week was Week 10. We had, this is actually a pretty cool one. We had Vikings get Offensive Player and Defensive Player of the Week with Justin Jefferson and Patrick Peterson. I believe that was against maybe the Steelers. I don't know why that name's popping up. I don't know why I'm thinking of the Steelers versus the Vikings. Maybe that didn't even happen. I don't know. But they got Offensive and Defensive Player of the Week. We had a record breaker Justin Fields that week as well, and Mike Wallace. That week, of course, Harvest Part 2. And this drop was loaded for Harvest. We had A-Rod. I almost said Alex Rodriguez. Don't know why. In my notes, I had A-Rod. I wanted to say Alex Rodriguez. I almost did. We then had Pat Surtain. We had Randy Moss, Jeremy Chin, Darren Waller, and an LTD Nick Chubb. A super underrated card this year is that LTD Nick Chubb. He was really, really nice. And that Monday, we had the AKA Ocho Cinco and Mike Singletary. Of course, the next week would be Team of the Week 11. We had Tony Pollard, Stevie Johnson, Adrian Wilson, and Jimmy Garoppolo. And then Blitz was here. Blitz brought us a limited time Anthony Barr. Obviously, these were kind of like spread out drops, I guess. So I'm just going to say them all at once. But we had Blitz with LTD Anthony Barr, 94 speed Night Train Lane, 94 Steve Smith. We had Montez Sweat. We had 94 speed Mike Vick, 94 speed Jalen Waddle. Actually a pretty solid drop. We also had budget Breece Hall. We had a nice OJ Howard card. Gino's card was pretty good. And we also had the 93 speed, 90 overall Eric Stokes. So overall, Blitz was actually pretty solid. And my favorite part of Blitz personally was when they added that mystery pack into the store for just one coin. And it had a bunch of like 95 and like 96 overall players. Hopefully I'm showing my binder that I had on that day. And like Antonio Brown was in the drop. There was like a 96 Deacon Jones. Todd Gurley was in there. Earl Thomas. And of course, the Madden legend himself, Quick Sell Jim. But of course, they were patched down in overall, and quick sell value were also patched very quickly. So, yeah, if you weren't there for that like 2 hours that day, you have no idea what I'm talking about, but it was actually pretty funny. The legends that weekend were an LTD Marcus Allen. We had Darren Woodson and Joe Thomas. That AKA drop was actually the final AKA drop before the new class card started to come out, and that was Go Tom Brady and also the Big Play Slay card, who were, Big Play Slay was probably the best corner. I think a lot of people chose him for their free AKA player. Probably you did if you're watching this video. Probably you did. But I was actually a big fan of the Go Tom Brady card. I love the protected. I love the ability setups that he was able to get. I actually used that card for quite a while. That week was Team of the Week 12. We had Quandre Diggs, Trevor Lawrence, Joey Bosa, Marshall Faulk. Also, we had a record breaker, Cordero Patterson with 94 speed. And that right there wraps up November. We are now into December. The biggest month usually for Ultimate Team is December, and this month was honestly no different. To get started, we had the final All Madden drop with Larry Allen, Steve Atwater, Saquon Barkley, Cam Chancellor, Larry Fitzgerald, Calvin Johnson, both Kelsey brothers, again, Darrelle Revis and Calvin Johnson in the same drop. with Jackie Slater, Justin Tucker, Reggie White, and Rod Woodson. The legends that weekend were Kurt Warner, Ty Law, and Mario Williams, and the Compass player to start December was Ryan Fitzpatrick, who was actually a card that people grinded for because he had a bunch of different team chems. And, you know, that makes sense. He'd fit on more teams, so more people actually grinded for the card. We then had Team of the Week, Week 13, and Team Builders / Team Affinity on that next Tuesday. We had the DK Team of the Week card, and then we got a 94 overall All-NFC Team Chem Jalen Hurts, and for the AFC, it was Justin Reed. That Jalen Hurts card was very expensive for a good reason because the stats were juiced, but he very quickly did get dethroned as people's favorite quarterback in the game. We then had the first drop of the Zero Chill promo, one of the most popular promos every single year for a good reason. And to get started, we had a 95 overall Sean Taylor, 94 speed, 95 overall LaDainian Tomlinson, 95 TJ Watt, 95 Mike Evans, who was actually a pretty slept on card if we're being honest. And stocking stuffers were used differently this year compared to Madden 22, where they had kind of their own promo and their own champions. This year, they were just integrated into the Zero Chill promo and kind of used like Zero Chill set cards for the champions. It was a little bit weird, and I really wasn't a fan of it personally. We then had Team of the Week, Week 14, with the champion offensive player of the week, I'm pretty sure, Baker Mayfield, who led that, was like a 98-yard drive to win the game on Thursday Night Football, when I think he like got picked up earlier that week, which is pretty crazy. We had Andre Johnson, Javon Curse, and Rasul Douglas. And then Rare Presents became kind of speculation at the time. There's a lot of people talking about who were the presents going to be. There was those two presents, the Unfinished Business one and the No Ag Zone one. We, of course, all know who they were going to end up being, but at the time, there was, obviously a lot of speculation with who these cards were going to end up being. Zero Chill Part 2 comes out. We have the cornerback Calvin Johnson, strong safety Ted Hendricks, 95 Deebo Samuel, and the Taysom Hill tight end. So you start seeing, a couple out of position cards. All those champions besides Deebo were out of position. We then had Legends that weekend. It was Marvin Harrison, DeMarcus Ware, Tony Gonzalez, and another new Compass reveal, Tremaine Edmonds. And the rewards, you would expect it would be pretty good coming out during Zero Chill, but the rewards were, again, just so bad, and it was just a continuation of they're just being bad, like just awful rewards. Like the Compass, if you were going for Tremaine Edmonds, a literal one-team chem middle linebacker, there was no reason to really, get on and grind the game. I mean, as crazy as it sounds, it's the prime months of Madden, and you have this reward system where it's just completely flawed, and there's awful rewards and things like that. We then had Team of the Week, Week 15, DeMarco Murray, Rashawn Jenkins, Brandon Cooks, and I love that KJ Osborne card. He was absolutely amazing. And this week, instead of there being a Zero Chill drop, they gave us a Ghost of Mutt drop instead on Thursday. And there were 33 ghosts. We had limited time Cromartie, limited time Mahomes, who was actually like the first good Mahomes card we've seen since probably Madden 20, Super Bowl MVP. We had LTD Kenneth Walker, 95 speed free safety, Julius Peppers, and I'm not going to list all of them, but it was probably one of the best single content drops of the year, in my opinion, just getting a bunch of really good cards with great card arts and a bunch of good names that people that were due for upgrades, things like that. And I know this whole time I didn't really say anything about any glitches or make rights, but this whole time that is going on. So just know, like, it wasn't a clean month of December leading up into Christmas. But yeah, there was obviously still a ton of issues going on, even after, of course, the pack strike was finished, which was weird. I don't know. It is now Christmas Eve, and we actually got a pretty good legend drop for obvious reasons, with the next day being Christmas. It makes sense why they gave us good legends, but we got limited time Richard Sherman, Randall Cunningham, Ronnie Lott, and Christian Okoye, so a pretty good drop. And then, of course, the next day, Christmas, the rare gifts open up, and it is revealed that it is a scrambler Tom Brady and the cornerback Harold Carmichael. But Christmas Day, Madden 23, is a day that people will not forget when they look back at Madden 23. I would say it's like Donald Parham. I would say it's, the pack strike part of the year. Some things that happened later in the year as well that we're going to get to. But I would say Christmas Day is one of those days that, it'll go down in mud history as one of the worst days for EA. First of all, the servers were super slow. People trying to get onto the game weren't able to. Because the servers were so crowded with people getting on and opening up their gifts for good reason. They always hype up the gifts. It's the biggest part of the Christmas promo or Zero Chill promo every single year. So that does make sense. So if you were able to get on the game, you would realize that your gifts were mislabeled. So if you opened up the gifts that were mislabeled, they basically, to make it right, they gave you the gifts correctly labeled back, which duplicated the amount of gifts you had no matter how rare they were. and the market obviously went crazy. Me personally, I made about 10 to 12 million coins, but I know people that made like 5 times to 8 times to 9 times more than me. It was crazy. It was honestly a crazy day in MUT, and people just, benefiting off the glitches that EA gives you is kind of a common theme of Madden 23, as you're going to see as the year goes on here. And the next day, EA does something that I don't think was talked about enough, just how scummy it was. And that is EA dropping the Super Bowl MVP, the first 99 bundle, into the store the day after Christmas. You might as well just put it out on Christmas. They're just out here just trying to make it's actually sick. I think the all the gift problems kind of overshadow what actually happened, but they really just did that. They really did that. They put the $100 bundle in the store the next day. It was funny, but yeah, I don't think that got talked about enough. Of course, that next week's pretty dead. It's just 2-0 chill drops. We had limited time Bo Jackson, Creed Humphrey, CeeDee Lamb, Chris Jones, Denzel Ward. That Thursday was Zero Chill Part 4 with Jair Alexander, limited time Bobby Wagner. We actually had a limited time Ghost, and that was Cam Newton. And also that Champion Plexico Burst came out that day as well. To end December, on December 29th, we had the legend limited time Eric Dickerson, and now we are into January. The first big content drop of January was Campus Heroes Part 2. It gave us 95 speed Keith Byers, limited time Clowney, limited time Devonta Smith, champion Denard Robinson, champion Thomas Davis, champion Jason Verrett, and some pretty good budget cards, honestly. I believe every single team actually got a hero, which was pretty cool as well. And looking back, was one of the better drops of Madden 23. It really was. I mean, that 95 speed Keith Byers actually was getting touches on my team up until like golden tickets. That's how good that card was on a theme team. He was still super legit. So I was a big fan of Campus Heroes Part 2. We then had the 95 speed Compass Travis Etienne. And because Team of the Week was not coming out during Zero Chill, Team of the Week 16 and 17 both came out on the same day. And they also gave us our Matthew Berry Player of the Year. It was actually Austin Eckler, who was a 97 speed, 96 speed running back. He was the highest overall card and the fastest running back in the game when he came out. We also got a 96 Revis. There was Kyle Duggar, Daniel Jones, Michael Thomas with 95 speed, a George Kittle, a Micah Hyde, and also a 96 speed T.Y. Hilton. And I obviously don't like when Team of the Week doesn't come out during December, but I do like these kind of super Team of the Week drops. I think they're actually usually pretty good, and they've been pretty good, the last 2 years. That Thursday, we had Season 3 with the 98 overall All-Team Chem Rob Gronkowski, who, in my opinion, was the best season master or season reward or season champion, whatever you want to call it. But I love that card. He was amazing. He's still on my team, still gets crazy work. Pause. But we also had Ed Reed with the 1 AP film study, or was a discounted film study. I don't remember. I don't think it was 1 AP. It may have been 1 AP. He was special because of film study. He had to have been, because it's on my script. I'm gonna trust my script here. Also, Fred Belindikoff, who I definitely spelled his name wrong in the script. But then we had the playoff promo. Playoff promo the last couple of years has been a pretty big disappointment. This year wasn't that bad. We had Aaron Donald for this drop, Champ Bailey, Steve Young. And then Legends, we had Mark Brunell, who was our first, I think maybe our first ever lefty slinger one that we've ever seen. And when they revealed Legend Mark Brunell, I kind of made a joke on Twitter like, oh, he's gonna have Slinger 1, and they actually gave him Slinger 1. They literally gave him Slinger 1, which was crazy. He was actually a super popular card and was super expensive when he first came out. People were buying him up, keeping that price high. We also had Kevin Green, Sammy Knight, and Doug Baldwin that weekend. And that is January 14th we're at right now. And that Monday after those Legends came out, we had the AKA New Class. And little did we know that the AKA New Class was going to absolutely break gameplay in Ultimate Team. And in my opinion, this was one of the best single drops of Madden 23 as far as content goes. We had a 97 speed Tyreek Hill, Lamar Jackson with that Truz ability so he couldn't fumble, Jamal Adams, Stephon Gilmore, JJ Watt with Unstoppable Force. So yeah, all really good cards. And the main reason why these cards were so broken was because, the first set of AKA cards also had these X Factors, but they just weren't affordable. Like, as far as AP goes, it didn't make sense to run their X Factors. On these cards, they made it like 1 to 2 AP, so people were actually using the X Factors, and obviously X Factors are broken. Look at Eric Dickerson, and what they did was they gave us a Quadfather AJ Dillon card, 95 speed, like 246, I believe his weight was, and he had a broken X Factor. It was broken Freight Train. For some reason, the X Factors didn't go away after the cooldown. If you ran persistent on the card, you literally had to tackle him twice for a loss in order for it to go away, which is just nasty. And even when you took away his X Factor, he still was able to earn it back using the play cooldown. So literally, he could lose the X Factor, not even touch the ball, and then get it back, which is nasty. And this was kind of the starter that you didn't feel it that much, but like it was kind of the start of the end for Madden 23 because yeah, that AJ Dillon Quadfather card was just nasty. So broken, had 25 to 30 broken tackle potential in a single game, which is not football. It's just not. So that was probably one of the biggest drops because it really did affect the rest of the year. And the AKA New Class is one of the most loved and hated promos that we've ever seen. We then had Week 18 Team of the Week, and it was absolutely laughable. We had Josh Allen Jaguars. Then we had Nyheim Hines, who got a Team of the Week for the kick return the game after Damar Hamlin, but was only given an 84 kick return stat. So he got the Team of the Week card for a kick return, but they gave him an 80. It was nasty. And then also, I made a Mike Dana gameplay, I believe. I love that card. Made a Mike Dana gameplay. Yes, I did. Then we had a playoff promo part 2 with AJB, Darren Bland, Andrew Thomas, who got Edge Protector, 96 speed Quez Watkins, one of the better budget cards. I loved the champion 96 speed Christian Kirk, and Justin Reed also got an upgrade, who gets all AFC team chems, looking back at his team affinity card. Legends that weekend were Brian Dawkins, Terrell Davis, Derek Brooks, and Bruce Matthews, so a pretty good legend drop that weekend. We then had a Compass player, Amari Barrow, revealed for the next 2 weeks with 95 speed off the edge, so a pretty nice card there. The AKA dropped that Monday, which was going to be recurring, AKA New Class every Monday. We had JPP, Hargrave, the Gravedigger card, and we had the Mercedes Big Dog Lewis card. The LTD Hargrave was actually not in reroll, so everybody got a free Gravedigger card. Everyone had that man at defensive tackle. It was kind of funny that literally every single game you saw that free Hargrave card. We then had the start of weekly wild cards with Isaiah Hodgins, the LTD. We had Drake London, we had Josh Johnson, and I was a huge fan of Madden 23 weekly wild cards. I actually liked it a lot more than last year's wild cards. I didn't think it would be possible, but I love how kind of each mini promo, like Rising Stars, Veterans, Heavyweights, and Team Standouts, all got a high overall card each week. And there was also an LTD each week as well. So there was a really nice kind of drop on a Wednesday. You have AKA on Monday, a super nice promo. Then you have weekly wild cards on Wednesdays. Then you have your main promo on Thursday. And this week it was Playoffs Part 3 with Andre Reed, Kurt Warner, Alan Faneca. We had Hassan Reddick, we had Juju Smith, we had Shavarius Ward, we had Von Bell. Legends that weekend were Mean Joe, Michael Irvin, Tracy Porter, Owen Daniels. And then AKA next week, they gave us another running back. They gave us Derrick Henry with the broken X Factor. He was good. He was very good, don't get me wrong, but he wasn't as broken as AJ Dillon because his X Factor actually worked the way it was supposed to, unlike AJ Dillon's that is still not fixed. It just still isn't. And then the LTD was the Honey Badger card. The final content of January was a weekly wildcard drop with the LTD Darius Williams. We had Chris Olave, Rising Star, and we had veteran Quan Alexander. We are now into February, and to start February, we had the Super Bowl promo with 96 speed Julian Edelman. We had LTD Rod Smith, LTD Forrest Gregg, Jalen Mills. We had Darnell Dockett champion Ray Lewis. We had a 97 Russell Wilson, and also that 95 speed Jerome Bettis. So normally the first 99 overall is the Super Bowl MVP, but it was a little bit different this year because the GOAT announced retirement. We had the 99 overall tribute Tom Brady, who was amazing. I mean, he was like probably the best card in the game. They juiced his stats, gave him good abilities. I love that card. I love Tom Brady cards throughout the whole year. As you could probably tell from just watching my old gameplay, I had like so many Tom Brady cards, but the 99 tribute Tom Brady was absolutely amazing. On that same Saturday that we got the tribute Tom Brady, we also had our final legend drop that was headlined by limited time Joe Flacco, who actually kind of outshined the Tom Brady card. He had good abilities and most importantly the Slinger 1 release, so he kind of outshined the Tom Brady card because he was also a lot more affordable and a lot more cheap than the Tom Brady at quarterback. So I found that kind of funny that Joe Flacco had a lot of hype on that day. The Compass player for the next 2 weeks was Nashawn Wright, the Cowboys cornerback. We then had AKA with DeAndre Hopkins, Denzel Ward, and limited time Harrison Smith. Weekly wildcards that week were pretty good, mainly because the Black History Month promo also came out with weekly wildcards on Wednesday. And the Black History Month promo was actually really, really good. It was a rare, good, free content. Usually EA does not give us free content because they want money. But Warwick Dunn, 96 speed, had 2 0 AP abilities, and had all 32 team camps. which was crazy. And also there was the 93 Shaquille Leonard, who at the time, he was still on people's teams for, team chems and, team fillers and stuff like that. But later in the year, he would get that AKA card that had all 32 team chems, which was obviously very nice. But that Warrick Dunn, he was insane. Probably the best running back in the game, and he was completely free, which is, you would never hear like a free card being the best card in the game from EA. That is so crazy. Still, we also did end up getting a limited time Kyler Murray for that weekly wildcard drop. And then we had the Super Bowl. This was during Super Bowl week. We had the present cards. We had the all NFC team chem 97 Jalen Hurts. We had the 97 overall, 97 speed, 6'4" Marquez Valdes-Scantling. We also had Travis and Jason Kelce, who got each other's team's chem, so you can put them both in the same team, which I thought was pretty cool. And then we also got a tribute AJ Green with 96 speed. So yeah, you definitely love to see that. We then had the theme team starter packs come out, which I really liked. It was actually a super cool idea from EA. Hopefully we see it again in Madden 24. It made it really easy, switch theme teams, start a new theme team. If you were getting started in the game, it made it easy to build a theme team. I liked the theme team starter packs. Over that weekend, Patrick Mahomes went out there and won the Super Bowl. They beat the Eagles, and of course, he won Super Bowl MVP. But before that card came out, we had the NFL honors Justin Jefferson, we had Nick Bosa, we had Geno Smith, we had the AKA limited time Scary Terry, we had Teron Armstead, we had Max Crosby that week as well. And then they gave us the 99 Super Bowl MVP Patrick Mahomes with the built-in gunslinger. And he was, again, good. He was good. He was very good. And we started getting just a bunch of good quarterbacks, kind of back to back to back with Tom Brady, Mahomes, and that Joe Flacco card. We then had Gridiron Guardians Part 2. Part 1 of the promo was kind of overshadowed by the pack strike earlier in the year, so I was kind of excited for Gridiron Guardians Part 2. We had a champion Roddy White, champion Delaney Walker, champion Bradley Chubb. We had a champion out-of-position cornerback Isaiah Simmons, and the LTDs were Austin Corbett and the limited time Marcus Williams. We then had my favorite drop of the year, and that was the Jets NFL Honors drop with Offensive Rookie of the Year Garrett Wilson and Defensive Rookie of the Year Sauce Gardner. That Saturday, we were given our first Ultimate Legends drop of the year, and it was obviously stacked the same way that both AKA first drops were and the Legends drop was this year. We had Haloti, we had Nolan Cromell, we had Charles Tillman, London Fletcher, Bo Jackson, Gary Zimmerman, Harold Carmichael, Charles Haley, Dante Culpepper, Willie Anderson. And also on that day, we got the All-Team Chem MVP Mahomes from the Honors promo. They didn't give Mahomes another 99 because he won Super Bowl MVP, so they didn't double it up. They kind of made like a scrambler backup all 32 Team Chem Mahomes, which was a cool idea because no one would have, obviously used the MVP Honors Mahomes. And around this time, Team of the Week voting also began. And then that Monday, we had the AKA Joe Burrow. This was actually my birthday. Happy birthday to me. We then had the AKA Joe Burrow, Eddie Jackson, and Pat Surtain. Weekly wildcards that week were George Pickens, Kyer Elam. Gridiron Guardians Part 2 gave us Aiden Hutchinson, Cooper Kupp, Ezra Cleveland, who was super fast, Jet Legend Al Woods, LTD Zach Cunningham, and LTD Leonard Fournette. ULs that Saturday were Mel Blount, Jamal Charles, LTD Russ Grimm, LTD Junior Seau. And we're already on the next week. We had the AKA Rodgers, AKA Rodrigo, and the LTD Pitts Unicorn. JJ Watt announced retirement, so then they gave us the tribute JJ Watt. And my goodness, did I fly through the end of February. So we are now into March. I am going to try to get through these months a little bit faster than the previous months. So yeah, stick with me here. We have Team Affinity, Keenan Allen with all AFC team chems, and we have Zadarius Smith with all NFC team chems. We then have the 99 Darius Slay with all team chems, and he was probably the best cornerback when he came out. Great stats, good abilities, and of course all 32 team chems. We then had the Combine promo Part 1. One of my favorite promos of the year was the Combine promo. I love the champions, Chris Johnson, Leon Sandcastle, Mario Williams, Tristan Wirfs, Julio Jones, Bruce Irvin. And also for the first time ever, we had incoming rookies in this promo. So Bryce Young was in the first drop, Cam Smith, Devin Achane, Trenton Simpson, and they were also actually good cards. For Combine Part 2, we were then given a Leon Sandcastle quarterback, running back, and tight end. All were actually top tier at their position. We had a champion Christian Watson, champion Trayvon Walker, champion Evan Ingram, champion Buda Baker, LTD RG3, and LTD D'Angelo Hall. And then the rookies for drop number 2 were actually better than drop number 1 in my opinion. We had Bijan Robinson, Nolan Smith, Brian Breesy, Anthony Richardson, and after drop number 2, you were able to get the free Joey Porter, who was also a pretty good free card. EA did a good job down the stretch giving us good free content, in my opinion. Actually, I take that back because the Comp Pass was free content and it was quite bad the whole year. But then that Monday, we had AKA with DeMarcus Lawrence, LTD. We had Hollywood Brown and Xavier Rhodes. Weekly Wildcard was Trent McDuffie and Adam Thielen. And then we had Season 4 and Team of the Year both come out on the same day. And of course, EA decided to push back the Team of the Year promo this year. Normally, it comes out at around the Super Bowl, like a week before the Super Bowl, like late January, early February. This year it came out early March, and it was a great content drop in my opinion. I know some people didn't like the new structure of how, some cards only got like +1s, but to me it's like, why not get more content? Why not get more cards? Why not get more updated cards? And they still gave upgrades to cards that needed them. It's not like they left those cards out and just upgraded cards that didn't need upgrades. They gave everyone upgrades. I think it was one of the best content drops maybe like we've seen in a minute, honestly. We had the Kelsey brothers, Trent Williams, Justin Tucker, Myles Garrett, Sauce Gardner, CMC, George Kittle, Austin Eckler, Derwin James, Jalen Ramsey, Fred Warner, Tyreek Hill, AJ Brown, Nick Bosa, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, and Micah Parsons all get upgrades in one day. And we also had like a new kind of promo structure where if you put 2 champions into a set, you were able to get like a super champion. And that was, of course, the 99 John Madden that had all team chems and was able to play everywhere on the offensive line. So it was a pretty good card there, and it was an amazing drop. We also had Season 4, 99 Calvin, 99 Trevor Lawrence, 99 Trayvon Diggs, 97 speed Javon Holland, and Season 4 Jamal Williams. I also noted here that you were now able to get 99 Ken Stabler, which, does that make sense? I thought Ken Stabler was only the first 3 seasons of Champions, but I guess it says here you can now get 99 Ken Stabler, and I'm going to trust my script. Hopefully that is right. We then had Ultimate Legends that weekend, so an amazing drop. And then we had Mike Vick, Aqib Talib, and Pouncey. You hearing Pouncey and Aqib Talib together might bring back some memories. And yes, this was the weekend where we had probably the biggest glitch this year and the easiest glitch this year. In my opinion, I liked it better than the Presence glitch because all you had to do was just hit A and just roll training varieties. Basically, if you didn't miss the glitch, all it was, every single pull out of a training variety was either Aqib Talib or Pouncey, and they were both limited time, so they quick sell for 350k. So every single roll you were getting 350k, and there's nothing EA could do about it. It went on for like 30 minutes. I was like 10 minutes late and still made just an egregious amount of coins. So I love that glitch. It was amazing. There was also an Ultimate Legend Eric Berry that weekend. They kind of added like a bonus legend, but Mike Vick weekend and the glitch and new season and Team of the Year. It was a good end of the week right there. It was a good 3 days for Ultimate Team. And of course, after there is a glitch, I noted here that there was a huge ban wave as well. Not because people participated in the glitch, but because people sold cards for prices much higher than what they're going for. That of course triggers the auto ban system, and then you get clipped. It's simple as that. That Monday we had AKA Saquon Barkley and Shaq Leonard, who I mentioned last month, getting all 32 team chems. And this card's actually still on my team because he has that Unstoppable Force, all 32 team chems with the strat card. He's actually still on my team right now and still is a monster. We then had Game Changers with, limited time CeeDee Lamb, short in, short out, limited time Ryan Neal, Josh Jacobs, Justin Herbert, Derek Brown, Tyson Campbell. We then had free agency that week as well, where again we had that same structure where if you put 2 champions into a set, you're able to get like a super champion, and that was of course the 99 Reggie White. And we had all team chem Odell, Davin Tomlinson, Lamar Jackson, Jordan Poyer, Jamel Dean, and Tony Pollard. And the LTDs were Jesse Bates and Ben Powers. That Saturday we had Ultimate Legends, and actually they gave us bonus free agent LTDs. They gave us Tremaine Edmonds and Dalton Schultz, but Legends that weekend were Drew Brees, Justin Tuck, Willis, and David DeCastro. Patrick Willis, of course. I don't know why I blinked on his name. Patrick Willis and David DeCastro. AKA that Monday brought us the man himself, Gus the Bus. Gus the Bus is here, 2 0 AP abilities, and of course the broken X Factor. Good build, good speed, good stats, and I know for a fact that he's still on some people's teams, still one of the best running backs in the game. Also, Danny Dimes was good, and Rousseau also got Unstoppable Force too. That was actually a really strong AKA drop right there. We then had weekly wildcards and game change on the same day, I wrote here. Weekly wildcards were Amon-Ra St. Brown, Joel Bitonio, Kevin Byard, Demario Davis, who everyone thought was going to be a Devontae Adams. Limited time, Mark Andrews, and limited time, Kendall Fuller. And weekly wildcards that week were actually also very good as well. We had Breece Hall and Tariq Woolen and Jalen Waddle. So whenever that Wednesday was, it went crazy. We got a bunch of really good cards and a bunch of really good content. And March continues to be a really good month for content with the Ring of Honor promo. We have champion Tony Gonzalez, Randy Moss, Barry Sanders, all team chem Deion Sanders, and Lawrence Taylor. All of them got 2-0 AP abilities, and they also had their 98 overall like sidekick cards, and that was Randall Cunningham, Herman Moore, Jerry Rice, Asante Samuel, and Darren Woodson. Ultimate Legends that weekend were Antonio Cromartie, Vernon Davis, and Steve McNair, who was actually the best quarterback in the game for a good amount of time. We then have Sugar Rush Part 1 with Devontae Adams, Marshawn Lattimore, Marshawn Lynch, Chris Lindstrom, Matt Stafford, TJ Watt, Adrian Amos, and Stephon Diggs. And of course, people were kind of wondering where are the eggs at. We had no egg rolls, no nothing. And people, of course, on Twitter were changing their avatars to egg rolls. And people were, in the YouTube comment section going crazy, asking where the egg rolls, when are they coming out, all that good stuff. They eventually did, but it just it wasn't really ever right, in my opinion. We then had the final AKA drop of the year. And of course, this gave us the Cordero Patterson, AKA Flash, and he had the Phenom X Factor, which is basically just like Freight Train X Factor, but it works on a catch as well. So if you want to blitz him, you can throw him on a flat route, dump it off to the Flash. He's going to break that guy who's man-to-man on him, and he's going to break that tackle and probably go to the crib with it. We also had Janoris Jack Rabbit Jenkins, who had my favorite card art of the year. I would give my card art of the year award to the Jack Rabbit Jenkins card. I literally put him on my team just because of the card art. No other reason. That was why he was on my team. Deion Jones and Furious George Unstoppable Force also came out on that day. We then had Team Diamonds Part 2, and honestly, if Team Diamonds Part 2 was good, this could have been probably the best month for content. There was a bunch of good drops, but unfortunately, to finish out March, we had Team Diamonds Part 2. The only good thing about Team Diamonds Part 2 was Isaiah Palamau and how he had all team chems, and you could literally earn him from just playing solos. That was cool about Team Diamonds Part 2. The 98 overalls were all just really weird names. We thought we were going to be getting, past players, like cool niche names, cool new names, but instead it was like a bunch of like weird current players that didn't really make sense. And they didn't even get 2x chems either, which was crazy for like a Diamonds promo. But it was just a really bad drop. They were all mid, they were all overpriced, and they were only 98 overalls. Like, it was just a bad drop. Team Diamonds 2 was so bad. And looking back at other Diamonds promos, other Theme Diamonds promos, other Team Champion team promos, all that stuff, it was one of the worst we've seen as far as, cards go. But thankfully, yeah, the free Isaiah Palamau somewhat saved this drop, and that wraps up March. So we are now into April, and the first day of April was one of the most fun days on MUT because Escape the Artist came out. He was like an April Fool's kind of prank on the community that only lasted one day. He's 7'7", 99 speed, every ability you could imagine on a quarterback. Had the Truz X Factor, good release, the gear was crazy. The card was so much fun to use, and that day everyone was using him, obviously. It was like a one-day limited use, and then he was, powered down. I think he shrunk, and I also think they like nerfed his stats and all the AP and things like that. We also had Ultimate Legends that day with Emmitt Smith, Jason Taylor, Greg Jennings, and Sean Taylor. Sugar Rush Part 2 gave us Ty Law, Christian Kirksey, McCreary, Kayvon Thibodeau, Justin Fields, and Antoine Winfield. A pretty mid-drop in my opinion. The golden ticket drawings then began. We had Ultimate Legends again that next week with the limited time Cam Chancellor, 99 overall, Brian Shazier, Jeremy Shockey, and John Runyon. It was then Easter, and of course the eggs hatched. We had Brandon Marshall, JC Horn, Darren Waller, and Von Miller. However, we knew who those players were going to be for like 2 weeks because MUT.GG leaked it. So it wasn't too exciting on Easter when the eggs hatched. We then had Mission MUT, which was a new promo here in Madden 23. Had really good card art. In my opinion, some of the names fell flat a little bit, but still a really solid promo. We had LTD Tua, LTD Justin Simmons in it, LTD Rod Woodson, LTD Andre Rison. The two super champions were 99 Night Train Lane and 99 Tim Tebow. We had 98 Antonio Gates, 98 Jimmy Smith, 98 Kenneth Walker, and 98 Jeremy Chin. We then had the NFL Draft promo in April. It gave us Deebo Samuel, Tre'Davious White, DK Metcalf. Even Chad Greenway got an upgrade. We had Evan Neal, Cam Newton, and on NFL Draft Day, we had the limited time, basically a golden ticket before golden tickets came out. 2-0 AP abilities, Aaron Rodgers. And the first 5 picks also all got 99s, headlined by Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Anthony Richardson, and Will Anderson Jr. And the last thing I noted here for April was that Madden announces the trade block will be gone, at least until Madden 24. Who knows if it will be back in the next game, but most likely it will be gone probably forever. We are now into May, and May gave us the Backyard Ballers promo. It was back from Madden 22. In my opinion, wasn't as good, but still got some good names. We had middle linebacker Harold Carmichael, free safety Chad Ochocinco, wide receiver Jordan Love, Quinton Williams left tackle, Derek Stingley running back, Jason Witten defensive tackle, strong safety Derrick Henry, QB Ricky Williams, cornerback Anquan Bolden, wide receiver Josh Allen on the Jaguars, Logan Thomas right outside linebacker, Najee Harris left end, and Brady Jarrett the center. May was also the start of golden ticket drops that ran all the way through July. The first golden ticket drop was headlined by cornerback Randy Moss, LaShawn McCoy, and Matt Stafford. We then had Theme Team Remix, one of my favorite promos over the last 4 years that I've been playing MUT. Theme Team Remix was, I think, 3 parts. I believe it was 3 parts, and each team got a 99 overall card. There was good free rewards. Lester Hayes was a little bit of a grind. I would like to see grinds like that, maybe a little bit less of a grind, come back in Madden 24. And it was sellable rewards, which was interesting. It was, really worth it because you also could get coins in return for grinding Lester Hayes and grinding the field pass. Yeah, what would you call that? The field pass Theme Team Remix, Demaryius Thomas, Champion, whatever you would call that card. They were both sellable, Lester and Demaryius Thomas, which I found really cool. We are now into June and July. I'm just going to put these 2 months together. But to avoid making the end of this video very repetitive, golden tickets and ultimate legends are still coming out through May, June, and even the start of July. We then have fan appreciation with tight end Harold Carmichael, strong safety Bo Jackson that you were able to kind of grind for completely free. We have Comp Pass, basically a golden ticket Cooper Kupp with 2-0 AP abilities. I know some people that were still playing the game actually did grind for this card, and it was actually really good. We have Season 5 that had RP tokens that you were able to get from just doing the field pass, which I found pretty cool. It didn't really matter that much, but if you grinded the season, you got free RP tokens, which was a big W. We have quarterback Derrick Henry in that, and of course, the Bo Jackson running back. And the good summer content continues with the Mold Breakers promo, a bunch of new custom archetypes. We had added position players. Of course, this promo new to Madden 23, and I hope we see it again in Madden 24. I hope we do. We always hope for summer content. Unfortunately, this year we got summer content, but the game was already dead at this point, so it didn't really matter. But usually we're hoping for summer content and never get it. This year we actually got good new promos, a new season. It was a pretty good way to end the year. And of course, those ultimate cards with the all 99 stats. I love this idea. I think some of the names definitely could have been better, like Roman Gabriel, whatever, and like Kiko Alonso. I think some of the names could have been better to create a little bit more hype. But it is what it is. I'm a big fan of the structure of this promo, and I hope we see it again in Madden 24. And the final new promo of Madden 23 was the Rookie Premiere promo with a brand new structure. Instead of it just being one big drop, it was a 4-part promo with each division getting its own drop: the North, the South, the East, and the West. And then there was also an Ultimate Rookie Champion that can be sold in Madden 24, and that of course was the 99 overall Aiden Hutchinson with 3 0 AP abilities and a charged X Factor. One of the best cards in the game. Honestly, he's really good. And I know people were upset that it wasn't a quarterback, but I think an edge rusher will actually end up being pretty solid in Madden 24. Fingers are crossed. But if I were to do the Rookie Premiere promo a little bit differently, I would have revealed the overalls of the players for Madden 24 while the parts came out throughout Madden 23. And I also would have told the community who the Ultimate Rookie Champion was going to be, if not for the first drop, at least the second drop of the promo. I feel like EA was kind of withholding the information, so people would spend money and still continue to chase the RP for Madden 24 without even knowing what the cards are going to be or who the Ultimate Rookie was going to be in Madden 24, which is a little bit scummy. I won't lie. That was a little bit scummy from EA. And while Rookie Premieres were coming out, there was still some Ultimate Legend and some golden ticket drops that had to finish. And even after Rookie Premiere was finished, EA continued to drop the Red Zone Royale promo up until the final drop, which contained a plus 99 strat card to every single stat for all players, as well as the return of the April Fool's legend, the Escape Artist. And that was the final content drop of Madden 23, which was August 3rd, 2023. And that does wrap up today's video. That wraps up basically all of the content. I hope I didn't miss any big part of the year. I've spent a lot of time on this video, so if you did watch up until the end, I would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and first of all, you are a real one for watching the whole video if you did. You are a super real one. I have no idea how long this video ended up being, but yeah, as always, I will see you boys in the next one, and man, I cannot wait for Madden 24.